You know that story we were told about life? That we had to choose the right path, have all the answers, know exactly who to be. What if none of that was true? What if the feeling that something is missing isn't a mistake, but a clue? Today we'll explore that restlessness we carry, the emptiness that follows us, and maybe discover what we're really searching for. Most of us spend our lives either running from pain or chasing pleasure. Often we get attached to things that aren't even good for us, but they give us a sense of relief. That's why we cling to someone who doesn't truly serve us, or get trapped in situations, social media, food, habits, things we know aren't healthy. Imagine this: if you were being hit constantly with a hammer, and for a brief moment it stopped, you would feel an incredible relief. That relief would feel almost like happiness, but it wouldn't be happiness. It would just be the absence of pain. And maybe that's how many of us are living. We get so used to tension, to comparison, to pressure, to the silent belief that we are not enough, that when something distracts us from it, even for a moment, we call it joy. Why do we live like this? Why do we accept constant discomfort and then organize our lives around small moments of escape? What if there was another way to live? What if you didn't have to constantly chase relief? What if you could step out of this cycle of tension and temporary pleasure? What do you think you would find if you truly allowed yourself to look inward without the stories the world handed you? Our brains, neuroscientists say, create stories about ourselves and the world, stories that seem true but are often conventions and expectations. Modern physics suggests something similar. Maybe the world we see isn't absolute, but constructed, an interpretation, not the territory. Maybe that feeling of something missing isn't failure, but a sign that we're ready to look deeper. Think about how you react to the world. Often we feel everything intensely, the weight, the emptiness. Maybe this is part of an internal radar, showing we're ready for something greater, something that isn't measured by fleeting pleasure or pain, but by perception and awareness. That silent emptiness that appears even when everything seems fine. We all feel it, even if we don't admit it. Perhaps it's what drives us, not happiness, not success, but meaning. Maybe what we're searching for isn't outside. Maybe it's about noticing what's already within us, waiting to be recognized. When we allow ourselves to stop seeking external answers, we start noticing small signals, small clues about who we really are and what really matters. We were taught to believe there are right ways to think, feel, and live. But what if those ways are just social conventions? What if your way of seeing, feeling, and questioning is the key to noticing something no one else can? How many truths we accepted are just stories told to make us fit in, instead of helping us discover ourselves? And what would happen if you allowed yourself to deconstruct everything you were taught and just observe? I'm not saying we have all the answers. In fact, I'm saying the opposite. Maybe there isn't a ready-made answer, but there is a path, silent, invisible, that leads inward. A path that begins with questions, not solutions. A path that begins with curiosity, not certainty. Ask yourself, what am I really searching for? Have you ever stopped to question why you want what you want? Not the object itself, not the person, not the achievement, but the feeling behind it. When you say you want success, what do you really want? Is it freedom, recognition, safety? When you say you want a relationship, what are you truly longing for? Connection, validation, to feel chosen? We rarely desire the thing. We desire the sensation we believe the thing will give us. And there is nothing wrong with that. Desire is not a flaw. Desire is movement. It is life expressing itself through you. When you want more, you are not being greedy. You are trying to expand. You are trying to express more of your being. Maybe when we seek to have, what we truly want is to be confident, to be loved, to be alive. And perhaps the subtle shift is this: what if the secret is not in having first, but in being now? Not pretending, not forcing, not romanticizing reality, but asking yourself, can I embody even slightly the state I am chasing? Can I allow myself to feel worthy before the achievement? Can I allow myself to feel whole before the relationship? Because when we stop living in search of relief, when we stop using the future to validate our existence, something changes. Life gains depth, not because everything is perfect, but because we are present. And maybe meaning isn't something grand. Maybe meaning is not a life mission written in the sky. Maybe meaning is found in the small things, in questioning why you do what you do, and asking yourself whether your actions align with your values. Have you ever truly asked yourself what your values are? What actually matters to you? Look at the people you admire. Look beyond what they have. What is it that you really respect? Is it courage, growth, integrity, freedom, health? The qualities you admire in others are often values you already carry within yourself. Sometimes they are hidden. Sometimes they are potential waiting to be expressed. When you act according to your values, life feels more coherent, more meaningful, not because something extraordinary happened, but because you are aligned. What fills us is not the big achievement, not the object, not even the person. It is the sensation behind it. And sometimes simply noticing the small moments, a conversation, a breath, a quiet morning, already brings more meaning than any future milestone. Many of us look at life as one big masterpiece, one grand mission to accomplish. But what if instead of obsessing over the finished painting, you paid attention to each brushstroke, each day, each moment, because life is made of these moments. This doesn't mean you stop caring about the future. It doesn't mean you abandon ambition. It means you live consciously, you learn from situations, or sometimes you simply breathe without needing to extract a lesson from everything. Sometimes the meaning behind meaning is simply feeling alive, feeling present, feeling yourself, without constantly escaping discomfort, without constantly chasing happiness. We are taught that happiness should be the goal, and when we feel sadness, we think something is wrong with us. But without sadness, would we even recognize happiness? We only know light because there is darkness. We only recognize warmth because there is cold. Consciousness itself exists through contrast. Life is a paradox. Maybe our purpose is not to be happy all the time. Maybe our purpose is to experience, to feel, to be here. If you only seek pleasure and avoid pain, you live on autopilot, like most people, always thinking something is wrong when things don't go as planned. If you only feel at peace when everything is under control, that is not peace. That is control. True peace begins when we embrace all that we are, on good days and bad days, with pleasant emotions and uncomfortable ones, understanding that we will feel anyway, with or without perfect emotional intelligence, with or without material success, with or without a partner. Life is not static. We are always in movement, and maybe everything arrives for a reason, something we will explore in the next video. If this reflection resonated with you, share it with someone who might need it. Like and comment so this message can reach more people, and I'll see you in the next video.